Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode on Casa Dreams. This is Yi, and today I'm going to talk about a very important subject: how to build your real estate dream team and who do you need on that team so you can accelerate your real estate success much faster than I did. If I were to go back and tell myself 2 to 3 years ago when I first started this journey on who I needed to network with, to build a relationship with, and to really pay attention to, these are the folks that you really need on your team that will really propel your journey to success in real estate much faster. Why do you need a real estate dream team? Well, there's so many moving parts. You can't be successful by yourself. You're going to need this team to help you get there. And I'm going to talk about who they are and my experience with them and how I was able to build that relationship. So I'm going to list them in no order of importance real quickly, and then I go into details on how I was able to build this relationship and how I found those relationships. I think that's the key. Number 1, banks. Number 2, deal seekers. Number 3, designers and architects. Number 4, contractors. Number 5 would be real estate attorneys. Number 6, an accountant. Number 7, a title company. And then number 8, other real estate investors that you can add to your circle of friends. If you like what you see so far, click the subscribe button, like, comment, and share with friends and family so that I can continue to make contents for all of you. Number 1, banks and lenders. I'll talk about who I've dealt with and worked with and built relationships with, and the ones that I do know. I'm sure there's many that I'm not aware of, but the ones that I do know are loan officers, private money lenders, hard money lenders, private investors, friends and families, and bankers. Those are the ones that I've worked with. My first experience with lenders and banks is very atypical. I talked to my real estate agent. They're able to find us a quadplex and ask them to refer us to a loan officer. They referred us to a great and very savvy, experienced loan officer who sat us down, asked us a couple questions. Some of the main questions was, do you guys already own a property? And I said, yes, I had one under my name through an FHA loan. And he asked if we were married legally or just culturally, and we were just married culturally. Therefore, he suggested, made recommendations that my spouse, my wife, could get another FHA loan to acquire this quadplex so that we didn't have to put 20% down on this property. And through his suggestions, his help, and the documentations that he guided us in providing to the lender, we were approved for this first real estate investment on this quadplex. And that is how we were able to get our first real estate investment property, is through a savvy and experienced loan officer. And so I cannot stress enough how important it is for you to build that relationship with a good, experienced and savvy loan officer. After acquiring the quadplex, and only that for a couple months, and managing the day in and day out of that property, I felt comfortable. I didn't feel like it was a burden, or I wasn't as scared anymore of all the stories that I heard from others about the slumlord stories and the horror stories that they get, and the midnight calls and 2 a.m. calls that all these landlords get. And so I was more comfortable. I felt like we can continue to acquire more properties. So as with any newbie investor, I talked to my loan officers and said, hey, can you guys help me acquire another property? And typically, since we've already used up both FHAs under my name and my wife's name, now the only option we have, at least from what the loan officers have told us, was getting a conventional loan to purchase a vacation home. So we decided to purchase a vacation home in Northwest Arkansas because that was an up and coming area, and we had to put 20% down. And so in looking back, maybe we could have done it differently, but we only knew what we knew then, and we just started moving. We just moved forward. And I'm glad we did, because in the end, I think we bought it at the right timing as well. We ended up netting $100K from that property within a year as well. And so that was, that worked well for us. But if I could go back and knowing what I know now, I would have done a couple things differently. After acquiring that vacation home, I'm on a roll now, right? I have single family home, I have a quadplex, I have a vacation home now. I'm thinking to myself, I need to get more and more properties. But we hit a snag because it was all within a 2-year span and we haven't had much experience. Lenders were telling us, nope, we can't lend you anymore, sorry. We need to make sure that you can handle this, and also your debt to income ratio is a little bit higher, so we need to see more taxes and at least 2 years and see what profits you're making first before we lend you more money. And then I've also experienced private lending, which is seller financing or owner financing. Because I saw this commercial land that I wanted to buy, because I knew based on my calculation, it was going to be paid for in about 3 years of ownership. And so I was like, okay, how do I acquire this property? Because banks aren't lending to me anymore, and I don't have $225,000. As I was driving around, I saw some signs about seller financing. So I decided to just call the seller, the owner of the property, and ask them about seller financing. I did a little bit of research and figured out what I wanted. And because I knew the potential of this land, the deal wasn't, in hindsight, I don't think it was the best deal, but in hindsight, I'm glad I did it, because now the property is paid for, and I believe it's valued at about $300,000, and it's also paid for within 3 years. So in doing that, because I didn't know any better, I just went with my gut as a newbie investor. I just pushed along and moved forward and made the decision to go for it. I was able to acquire that property, have it paid for within 3 years, and now it adds another $300,000 additional to my net worth. My next experience with banks and lenders are private investors and business lines of credit. I will talk about how I was able to get private investors to invest with me in my real estate deals, and also how I was able to build relationships with banks to give me business lines of credits to invest in real estate. I still have to talk about the remaining dream team members for your real estate team and how they are crucial and critical to your success in real estate. So, if you would like to learn more, click on the link above, and I'll see you in the next episode.